And now, even with the breath, I'm truly finding that less is more in everything I do.
Speaking of the breath, um, and with the shapes and the Avita Yoga that you're talking about, um, are you utilizing the breath in any form of flow or moving through the postures?
Yeah, but not in the traditional sense. It turns out, and this is a big topic, it's chapter 17 in the book. The title of the chapter is Calm Breath, Calm Mind. So it turns out we can watch the breath the same way we watch our mind for thoughts. There's this awareness of the breath. And and without going into too much detail, all the physiology is there. The science is there that tells us you want more oxygen to the cells in your body where it's needed the most. Condition yourself to breathe less.
Yes.
Yeah. And so there, I have sightings in the book of why that is, and it all comes down to this to a scientist in is a Ukrainian scientist, Buteyko, who discovered this many years ago, and a fellow named Patrick McEwen
Hmm.
is our more direct teacher who we study with. He's very prolific and lots of YouTube channels if you want to go find Patrick's work. He's well spoken and very clearly explains why this is. But that's how we treat it in the yoga. I'll wrap it up by saying three quick things about the breath. One, we address the biomechanics, which is the expansion of the rib cage and the movement of the diaphragm. So we do very slow, deliberate breath while we're doing shapes to work the biomechanics. Number two, we'll slow everything down and breathe a little bit less and actually work with a slight and subtle hunger for air, which lights up this physiology and starts to change the biochemistry. Tons of benefits of that. And number three is the psychological element of doing those two things. You know, the minute we start to limit the breath the tiny, tiny bit, the brain or the mind goes into anxiety mode. So we work with that and using it all in a very simple and subtle way to slow the mind down and ultimately find more peace and happiness. So that's a super high level nutshell, and that's almost all we need to know. I'll guide you through the practice, and it just all kind of happens.
Um, yeah, I'm hoping to sometime have Patrick up and have a conversation
Oh,
on breath work.
excellent.
Um,
Yeah, so you know about Patrick.
I do very much so.
Excellent. Oh yeah,
Uh,
you'll have a ball talking to him.
I sort of
Yeah.
think that Patrick's the antidote to Wim Hof, not as a slam to Wim Hof, but I think Wim Hof has a position, what he
Hmm.
does, but I think the vast majority of people would benefit health wise, would benefit emotional wise by breathing in a softer, lighter manner.
Yep, and always in and out of the nose. That's one of them. Is aiming to breathe, no matter what we're doing, to have only nasal breathing. That's sort of step one to just going out for a walk and seeing if you can breathe only through your nose.
Um,
Yeah.
I right now I feel that you've written a book that contains everything I love and one book. And I want to mention to the guests in the chat that I have a birthday in 2 months. If anyone is looking for the perfect birthday present,
All right. Well,
uh,
what's the date?
it's, April 17th. But it's never too
April
early to start
17th.
asking.
Yeah,
Just
right. Okay.
putting it out there. Um, I know Patrick has done quite a bit of work with um, breathing for asthma, uh, people with asthma,
That's how he came into it. Yeah.
right? Um, and it really is fascinating to consider that logically we think, and you mentioned this, if you are suffering from asthma, you want to take a deep breath. You want to get as much oxygen as you can, right? Because you're suffering from asthma. But studies show otherwise.
Yeah. Yeah, you have to. It's just like everything in life. When you try to change something, gosh, I was just watching a movie the other day, and this line came through. Eventually we start to see everything as the past, right? And unless you're in the power of now, then everything is past, because the course tells us the script is written, right? And but the line was, if you mess with the past, then the past will mess with you. And have you ever tried to change someone, or when you try to change something, how sticky it gets?
Right.
And then you realize, whoa, let me just forgive this person. Instead of trying to change them, let me just change my mind about it. And then th- as you do that, everything around you starts to reorganize according to the peace that is being uh, is being brought to the light in your mind. Everything is everything is an outer reflection of an inner condition. So if I'm having a hard time with it, or it's the same as a lot of us in our work, in our activities, in our sports, and this competitive nature comes in, and we strive, and it keeps us on the treadmill. We want to get off the treadmill. We want to step aside the treadmill and just watch the wheels go round, like the John Lennon song. I just
Right.
want to watch the wheels go round. And and that's the place of gentle, peaceful observance. And that's how we do our yoga. We come into the shape, we observe it without judgment. We spend a little time there and let it all work for us. So if I have asthma and I'm challenged to breathe, then it makes sense to simply stop trying to change it and push up against it and have more and more and more, even though, with that whole process just generates anxiety. Ah, let me slow down. Let me just put my head on a pillow and put my legs up on the wall and slow down. Let me get to the source of that need to breathe so hard. Let me get to the source of the push and the try. And now the muscles in the rib cage, the diaphragm, everything starts to get to be able to relax. Because whether it's a spasm in your hamstring or a spasm in your diaphragm or a spasm in your rib cage, we're not going to be able to push and stretch and manipulate that thing into better health until we use it. Going back to the previous part of our conversation, use it as a vehicle to get to the part of my mind that has the anxiety. Got to get to the source. And then all of a sudden, whoa, this memory of something that I've blocked might come up, some traumatic event in my childhood, or something will start to show up, or maybe an idea comes in and says, hey, I know you love cats, but maybe you're allergic to cats. Maybe, and all of a sudden, that's how spirit talks to us. Spirit will bring the answer the moment we start to open up the space for it. And that's why as we're practicing, we just want to be all ears, all eyes, all heart. You know, what am I being guided toward in my life?
Beautiful answer. You mentioned treadmill,
Hmm.
getting caught in that treadmill, spinning on wheels. And one thing I notice is that even yoga can become something that we're spinning our wheels on. I got to get to my yoga class. I got to master this difficult posture. In comparison with um, uh, the course sort of confronts us directly with stop, just stop, just pause.
Stop, drop, and roll.
Right,
Yeah. Stop, drop, and do a shape.
right, right,
Put your legs up on the wall and just take a moment. Yeah. But yeah, there's a meditation in every shape. You don't have to sit cross-legged and have a straight spine. I, none of that is required. If it were, we'd be doomed. None of us, very few of us would have a chance. So I like to say there's a meditation in every shape. And ultimately we come to the mat and we practice, or you, whether it's 3 minutes, maybe you do sit cross-legged and put a candle on and slow down your breath. If 3 minutes is what you have, there's your practice. But then let the essence of it weave its way into every moment of your daily life. Now i realize that life itself is the classroom, and that my meditation and my undoing really never stops. And I'm continually being shown the very things that uh, that are essential and necessary for me to unwind and forgive in my life and in my healing. Yeah,
right.
that's the repurposing of the world that the course talks about.